Hi everybody, this is Professor Ian. It's a short video where I'm going to review the instructions for the group project, the midterm group project as I call it. Midterm is subjective, I guess, just halfway through the semester. Anyways, something a bit different to break up the monotony of just reading texts every week, and to get us to think about and work on some different skills. So anyways, for the group project, this will be, we'll be presenting our group projects in week 9, but you'll be working on them between, week 6, 7, and 8, you'll be working on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create groups of 3 or 4, depending on the number of people, the students in the class and such. So you'll be in a group of 3 or 4 people, and what you need to do is choose a contemporary hero. And it could be anybody, as I note here. It could be someone dead, alive, real, fictional. I think probably the most straightforward way to go about this is to choose a superhero. Superhero narratives are one of the most popular form of storytelling right now. Think about all the Marvel movies that are coming out, all the DC movies that are coming out, right? For some reason, we're in a cultural moment where superheroes are very popular. I think this is partially because of our desire for a kind of hero like this, and also for technical reasons in that, CGI and special effects have caught up with comic book imagery and imagination. Anyways, that's a whole other topic we could get into. But that would probably be the most straightforward figure to choose. A Batman, like I've chosen here for my example, Superman, some Marvel hero. I'm more of a DC person myself. But one of these big heroes. But you could choose anybody you want. You could choose more of an anti-hero like Walter White from Breaking Bad, or you could choose, SpongeBob SquarePants. Any figure that you can justify as a kind of hero in our culture is fair game. And then in your group, and you need to decide this amongst yourself who you want to work on. I'm going to give you the week of, I think it's week 6. You'll have to take a look at the dates to decide that. As I note here, decide on a figure that you and your classmates want to work on. I'm going to have to modify a little bit of that. You have until Sunday, October 17th to decide on the figure, and then I'll start figuring it out for you, or really urging you. So just, in that first week when we're discussing the group project, suggest some options to you for your group mates, and then by the end of the week you can narrow it down, and I'll have some suggestions. Maybe I'll have some ideas about which would be easier or more straightforward, something like that. And then you're going to be using Wakelet to put together a presentation. And don't worry, Wakelet is a free app that we're going to use. We're going to practice using this, I think, in week 7. I think it is week 7 or 8. I think it's week 7. Your journal will use Wakelet, so you'll all practice using it. It's very intuitive, very easy to use, very user-friendly. And then, so what you want to do is you want to choose a figure like Batman, and you want to compare Batman, for example, your figure, to 3 of the figures that we've looked at. So you could compare Batman to Gilgamesh, Enkidu, and Aeneas, for example. It doesn't have to be just the lead character of the protagonist of a tale, right? So you could work on Enkidu, right? Enkidu is an important character in the Epic of Gilgamesh. I'm trying to think of another good example. Can't think of one off the top of my head, but it could be, it doesn't have to be the main protagonist. It has to be a major character. It has to be one of the heroes of the tales that we're working on. But you can play around with that. So then you're going to compare your chosen figure, for example, Batman, to 3 figures that we've looked at. And the idea that I have here is that most of the time I'll try to go with a group of 4. That way you have one person who does like the intro and the conclusion, and maybe does the Wakelet side of things. And then you have group members who do the comparisons. So you have 3 comparisons, and you have 3 or 4 group members. That way you can split up the work more strategically that way. So you're going to compare your chosen figure to 3 of the figures we've looked at. You're going to present this in a Wakelet, which is a very visual app. So you're going to want to find images, say, images from movies of Batman or television shows. And, that's something to think about, too, with a figure like Batman. I keep going back to this good example. But there are multiple representations of Batman. The Batman from the old 60s TV show is very different than the Batman from, Christopher Nolan's movies or the more recent Justice League movies, right? So you can use different versions of Batman in your comparisons, right? The DC or the Justice League version of Batman is more like Aeneas because whatever, whereas the old 60s version of Batman is more like Enkidu because something like that. So you can play around with, the version of the character you're using. But that's what you need to do is decide on a contemporary hero compared to 3 of the heroes that we've looked at in our readings. Put that together in Wakelet. You'll post that to a discussion forum. And I think, when is that by? You post that by Thursday, November 4th. So we have about a month to work on this. There's a discussion forum. 1 group member will post your Wakelet project to the discussion forum, and then everybody in your group will go and look at other groups' presentations and comment on those. So everybody needs to go and comment on other people's projects, but only 1 person from your group needs to post your group project. I hope that makes sense. And then there's a write-up to turn in by Sunday, November 21st. So you have a couple weeks after the presentation week, after week 9, so that's week 11, you'll turn in your write-up, which is just a written version of your project. So I've got more details here. There's a presentation, there's the presentation discussion, there's the write-up, and then there's a comment on your other group's presentation. So let's just look at the mark breakdown. I'll end it there. This project is worth 15% of your final grade, so a sizable chunk. Your engagement in the discussion forums for your group is worth 2%. Your comments on 2 other group presentations is worth 3%. The presentation itself, using Wakelet, that's the Wakelet presentation that you put together, is worth 5%, and then the write-up is also worth 5%. Okay, so it's worth putting some effort in, getting some nice graphics, and making an attractive project that's easy to read and easy to navigate. That's part of what we're practicing here, is presenting information in different ways that are useful for other people, right? Writing essays is one way of presenting information, but we live in a very web-based, internet-based culture where there are other ways of presenting information. So that's part of what we're practicing here. Anyways, so that's about it for now. You can email me with any questions or concerns. We're going to spend weeks working on this. You'll have your discussion forum, so there's plenty of time to ask questions and figure out these details. That's about it for now. I hope you enjoy the project. Students in the past have liked this project. It's a kind of different way to approach some of the material. Okay, that's about it for now. Hope you enjoy.